Hey everyone. I thought I would give an update since it's been a while. And it is Sunday, March 20th, 2022. And I think it might be the spring equinox. Spring has sprung. And I'm out here in my back patio on a beautiful day. And I just thought I would give an update since it's been a while, and probably a month. So I think the last time I did an update, I was just not long out of the hospital. And that was rough. That was a rough go back in January. I will be the first to tell you it was a rough go. I had that bowel obstruction due to the tumor pressing on my lower sigmoid colon. And they had to put in a stent. The options were the stent or the colostomy. Not a colonoscopy, but a colostomy. But they took into consideration me, my age, the nature of me. And they thought, we need to give this girl a chance. And so I am so grateful to my doctors that they chose to do a stent, which was kind of a risk. They didn't know if it was going to work. First time they put it in, it didn't work. So they did it again. And thank God it has continued to hold up and allowed me to have some time with liquid healing chemo over the last month and a half. And the whole plan was to put the stent in, to buy me some time for the chemo hopefully to work, to shrink that tumor so that I wouldn't have to lose, that part of my colon. And that, so that's what's been happening. Because I'm on that stent, I've been on that nutrition IV for 14 hours a day. They just dropped me down to 12. So I have not been able to eat regular food other than just very soft pureed foods. Mashed potatoes are my cuisine. Noodles, eggs, some yogurt, anything with, baby food, smooth consistency to, because it's all I can eat right now. So thank God for that I can eat something. Anyway, but the good news is that my cancer marker number has dropped dramatically. Just to give you an idea, in the hospital in January, and I knew it was bad, I knew it was high. So normal, what we want to see the number at is somewhere 35 and below. And in January it was 3,016. So yeah, it was, and I knew it was high. I didn't want to hear what the number was, because at that point in time it's like, I don't need to know specifics. What point is there? And so I didn't need to know that. And in comparison, some people who've had ovarian cancer have had that number up in the 6,000 to 7,000. So it's not like I was the highest they've ever seen. Not even close, but pretty darn high. The last two bouts of cancer that I've dealt with, the highest it got to was 485. So yeah, it was rough. Anyway, and in the hospital I had my moments talking to God, the Creator, and I'm strong in spirit, strong in my mind, but we all have our limits. And to be honest, the GI doctor who put in the stent, he said that he told me this recently, that he didn't think I was going to make it. So it was pretty bleak, and like I say, I had my conversations with God, and it doesn't matter how strong, and I know a lot of people are like, Lisa's strong, she can do this, if anybody can do it, she can do it, and to be honest, that's a lot of pressure to be felt, because it's like, well, what if I don't? Does that mean I let people down? There's just so much that one goes through in these journeys, I can't even tell you, but I had my moments of being like, man, we all have this idea of how we think our life is going to play out, and the truth is, none of us know. None of us know, and I had to surrender to, okay, maybe all those books that I have in my head aren't going to get written, but my conversation with God was basically, nobody knows my heart. Nobody knows my heart more than you know my heart. Nobody knows what I want to do here on this planet and how I want to serve and help humanity. Nobody knows more than God, my creator, and so I said to God, I said, you know my heart, but if you feel like I am best serving on the other side in spirit, I accept. Gulp. But I prefer and would like to stay here because I feel like I have much more to serve in this physical world, but I accept. It's a big moment. That's about as real as it gets. Anyway, long story short, here I am, still here, and I saw my surgeon yesterday to talk about, the potential plan of eventually taking the stent out, but that is dependent on a lot of things. I'm still obviously getting treatment, and so just to let you know, my cancer marker, I told you that it has dropped dramatically in the last month and a half, and it's down to 193. But I don't get too attached to that number. I'm done getting attached to that number because that number has emotionally wrecked me over the years, and I don't want to get attached to that, and it's moment to moment. And that's life is moment to moment, whether we realize it or not, whether we are dealing with cancer or we're not dealing with cancer. It's always moment to moment. We just aren't aware of it. But so good news is that we're moving in that direction, the direction we need to be moving in. And but the deal is that I can't have that stint. So because of the stint, I have my nutrition IV that I have to have for 12 hours a day, and my foods are limited. So one thing depends on the other, and so I wanted to talk to my surgeon about an eventual plan, and basically, obviously, they can't take out the stent while I'm on treatment, and they want to make sure, obviously, that I am as normalized as possible, meaning, my cancer marker is down as close to normal as possible. My blood work is close to normal. I mean, right now, obviously, when you're doing liquid healing chemo, blood counts are low. My red blood cells are low, my hemoglobin is low, and all of that is your oxygen carrying capacity. So that's where the fatigue sets in, and so you can't do a surgery like going in. It would be a minor one, taking the stent out and possibly doing a resection, depending on the tissue of my colon at that time. But in order to do any type of surgery and for healing, you have to make sure that your body is as normalized as possible. So I have a ways to go. That's the bottom line. I have a ways to go when one thing is dependent on the other. And so I will continue with treatment, liquid healing, as well as, and I'm just going to say this, and when I talked to my surgeon yesterday, he was blown away at how I looked and how my energy was, and I mean, pleasantly surprised. This is somebody who's very kind of sterile, kind of stands back, and, you know, when he walked in, he immediately smiled, and he had his mask down, and I could see his smile, and he says, "Wow, do you look good?" Anyway, we had a really good conversation. First, very clinical, very practical, and then, interestingly enough, it shifted into a more spiritual conversation, because I wanted him to know, like, I have also been working hard on an emotional level, on a spiritual level. I know this cancer there's an emotional root cause, and I've been working with a man who was a monk for many years, called Conscious Integrative Therapy, really digging deep to get into the soul of how did this all evolve, what are the patterns, what are the conditioning that caused such stuck energy to create dis-ease. I listened to a book, I'm listening to it again, called The Secrets of Healing of the Aborigines. I forget if that's the title. I always, for some reason, get that mixed up, but it's about a physicist who had MS for 7 years, and he ended up going to this Aboriginal tribe after the doctors here in Western medicine told him there's nothing more we can do, and he had a couple years to live, and so he was desperately looking for other alternatives, and he ended up in Australia. And I've spent time with the Aborigines in the Outback. They are a highly evolved culture, civilization. We call them primitives. They're not primitive. They've been aware for 60,000 years, practicing these healings that are of the cosmos. And I tell you, that book, which was recommended to me by my recovery nurse when I was getting my stent put in, she was a light, she was an angel, and she's like, you have to read this book now. It's pertinent. And it has almost guided me on the same journey that this man went on. And the healing that I can feel, and the letting go, and it's so profound, I can't even tell you. But Dr. Bilchik, he could tell, because I said, I opened up the conversation, I said, but I've been doing a lot of other work on many levels, and he said, I can tell. He said, it's not just the drugs. Thank you very much. No, it's not just the chemo. No. It is on another level. And like I told him, I said, none of us know when our time is. None of us young, healthy people can die suddenly. People who were in car accidents that they should have never ever survived, they're still here. So the bottom line is, worrying about when our ending point is, our death, is pointless. It's up to the divine. But what is in our hands is each moment, and what we do with this moment. And, we're looking for outcomes. The outcome is today. It's right here, right now. This is all we have. So that's my update. Going in the right direction. Well, right direction, whatever direction. One day at a time. Dealing with chemo fatigue some days. Aches, pains in my abdomen. But I got on my spin bike this morning, and it's like all my body said, yes, I remember this. But it's one day at a time. One day at a time. One moment at a time. Honoring and loving my body. listening to it and recognizing that my body's healing is on its timing. It's not my ego's timing. It's not my mind's timing. It's what my personality self, Lisa, would like it to be. I'd like it to be over now. And no, it is what it is. And I've had to learn to accept where I am in every part of this journey. And when we move into acceptance, we're not fighting the moment. Like I found myself comparing like how I'm feeling today, where my body is today, compared to when I was that strong athlete most of my life. And it's like stop. It doesn't serve. It doesn't serve to compare ourselves to where we were then or where we think we're going to be. It's where are we right now. And when we move into acceptance, peace comes. And so instead of comparing myself, I'm just honoring my body, and I'm like, okay, we are where we are, and this is where we are. And there's joy here too. There's challenges here, but there's joy. There's gifts. There's always gifts. So, outcomes. The outcome is right here. That's my story. That's where I am. One day at a time, one moment at a time. We do what we gotta do. All right. Love to all. And thank you all for your love, your prayers, your support in every way. I mean, there is no way I could be here today without all of you. There's just no way. So, thank you. Together we all heal. And that's why I'm sharing. Because, as you know, I believe that in sharing, we all get to participate. We all get to heal. All right. I love you. Have a great day. Happy spring.